Good morning. Welcome to the DFS Army YouTube channel. I am Razzle11, and you can find me on X at Razzle11Grinds. Going to take a look at some pitching for today, the 19th of April. We have a 10-game main slate of action. Going to look at DraftKings since a majority of my action is on DraftKings. Does not look like we have much for weather concerns. We do have a handful of games that are going to be in the 40s and 50s temp-wise, so some cooler action. But then a couple of games in Atlanta and Colorado that should have some offense, even though Colorado is the coldest game of the slate. So, but we're not necessarily looking here at offenses. Another reminder, this is a first look at the pitching options on the slate. As the day goes on, I will dig in more and provide updates for the DFS Army crew. But let's dig in. Sitting at the top, we have some names. Yamamoto, very interesting. Roughish start against San Diego. They've had some success against him now in both starts. It was great against the Cubs, really strong against St. Louis. Got an extra day of rest even before this start. I think Yamamoto's an excellent option against a Mets squad that doesn't necessarily strike out a ton, but they aren't the best of offenses either. K prop of 5.5. Juice is pretty solidly on the over right now. He is a minus 198 favorite, being at home with the Mets traveling to the West Coast. I think he is a perfectly fine option to be part of our pool. Freddie Peralta, another perfectly fine option, coming off of an elite start against Baltimore a week ago, so a couple of extra days of rest. He did get those couple extra days of rest for each of his starts, so nothing new there. Big Freddie Peralta guy, even though I'm not a huge Brewer fan. It's a minus 130 road favorite. Game total just 7.5, which is kind of shocking. Looking for his K number quick, 6.5 with the juice extremely strongly on the over. So a great K spot for Freddie Peralta. Looks like he has the strongest implied K total. Chris Sale is also 6.5, but the juice isn't quite as strong in that one. So Freddie Peralta is certainly going to be in play for me. And the aforementioned Chris Sale, I'm debating, name-wise, Chris Sale certainly there for recognition. K-prop's there. At 6.5, that's a solid K-prop for us for fantasy purposes. He is a minus 205 favorite. Game total is 9.5, though. He's coming off of a rough start against the Marlins, but he did go 7 innings. Extra day of rest. I'm intrigued. I don't really like picking on Texas a ton, but I am intrigued. Right now, I would think I might be fading Sale, but I'm going to have to consider that one a little bit more. I am fading Blake Snell. Just hasn't looked good. And like I pointed out in previous videos, him not having any spring training and only throwing simulated games while the team started the regular season, it's not a great recipe for success. He's a guy that has some control issues as it is. Takes him a while to kind of get rolling as in the season. So I'm going to play the wait and see game with Blake Snell. I want to see some steps forward and getting better. We do know at some point this year he's going to be a dominant option It's just not yet for me. Jordan Montgomery, coming off a real rough final start in the minors. Looks like up to 71 pitches. I'm interested because this ballpark is obviously made for pitching. He is a slight underdog against Blake Snell. K prop of just 3.5 right now. It's interesting. I do want to dig into his minor league starts as he got ramped up just to get an idea. 71 pitches probably means he's in line for 85 to 90. Um, I think which would be solid. I'm definitely more interested in Montgomery than Snell, but if I look into his minor league starts and things stand out negatively, I do not have a problem removing him from my pool. Um, which is really weird because I do, like I mentioned before, I do like taking pitching in this ballpark. Traumania, it looked solid and then got absolutely lit up by Kansas City. Taking on a Dodgers squad that's obviously super dangerous, but they were just shut down. Um, I don't think I can get to Mania. K prop of 5.5. Juice on the under. But it is an interesting thought. I just don't know that I want to pay 9K. Even if the Dodgers are slightly struggling, uh, I can play Joe Ryan for $100 cheaper, coming off of an elite 12K performance against the same Detroit squad. Uh, I think Joe Ryan's definitely going to be a more popular play. A minus 148 favorite. Game total of just 7.5. K prop sitting at. Oh, I guess I missed him. His K prop is the highest on the slate at 7.5 with juice on the under. Um, I guess reading early in the morning for me is not ideal. Joe Ryan probably going to be one of the more popular pitchers on the slate. Uh, well, I'm looking weather in Minnesota, freezing cold, but it is blowing out to right field at 17 miles an hour. But temps in the mid 40s, so uh, heavy air, great pitching weather to a degree as long as he gets a feeling for the baseball. Tristan McKenzie pitching through a torn ligament, or they assume has not looked good. Ks haven't been there. Walks are way up. Uh, we've been trying to pick on Oakland a little bit. I'm a Tristan McKenzie fan. K prop of 5.5, but I just don't know if I can go there, and it pains me. He's a minus 175 favorite, but I might just have to pass on Tristan McKenzie for right now. Uh, as much as it pains me to do, but man, I need to see a little bit more. Need to find some guys that we want to play here by the looks of it. A lot of so-so options on the slate overall, so we might have to get creative as the day goes on. Clark Schmidt, certainly somebody that I am interested in, just because I don't believe that this Tampa Bay offense is all that dangerous overall. Minus 166 favorite as of this moment. K prop of 5.5. Juice is strongly on the under, but uh, I like Clark Schmidt. I do not like this walk thing. That's worrisome. But ground ball pitcher against a team that I just don't think is overly dangerous. I think we have to definitely be on Clark Schmidt. This high whip is obviously a worry. I hate high whip for starting pitchers because big innings happen that way. With the game geared towards power, uh, you know, all of a sudden you got a 3-run inning just out of nowhere, 2 or 3 run inning. So I'm interested in Schmidt, though. I think it is a solid spot. So he is going to make my pool for sure. Matt Waldren, somebody that I am definitely going to consider. His K prop is just 3.5, with juice very strongly on the over. He has looked solid to begin. Struggled from the run standpoint against St. Louis, but did strike out 7. Bounced back against San Francisco and even against the Dodgers, even though he walked some guys. Extra day of rest, always a good thing for a guy that we don't expect to be in the rotation all season long. Um, Trying to find it. He is a minus 118 favorite in this one. Toronto, obviously have some names to worry about, but Waldren getting to pitch at home, I think he's an option. I would definitely rather use him than Tristan McKenzie right now. Definitely rather pay down for him than use, Sean Manaea against the Dodgers. But next name, Flarity. He's going to make my pool, but I don't feel spectacular about it. He did just strike out 8 against this Twin squad. Gave up some runs, has given up some runs in his last 2 after a strong start against the White Sox, but we know how weak the White Sox offense has been. Game total pretty low. His K prop's at 6.5 with juice on the under, but still a strong K prop on the slate. For 7,700, I think we are definitely going to be including Flaherty in our pool. No real interest in Gibson, even though that this game has a surprisingly low total. I'm just not a fan of playing Gibson, especially on a large slate. Alec Marsh started out the season great. Has not been good the last couple. Taking on a dangerous Baltimore squad, so I really have no interest there. Joe Boyle, a couple of strong starts in a row after getting roughed up in his debut this season. I don't really think I want to rely on a guy going into Cleveland. K prop of 4.5. Cleveland is a minus 175 favorite, so I'm probably going to end up passing on Boyle since they don't really strike out a ton. I think his upside is going to be capped a little bit, but he has shown the upside to get us, 20 plus fantasy points. Those are the things that I'm looking for. I want 20 plus in my range of outcomes without having to predict a career performance. Dean Kramer against Kansas City. I am interested. He did struggle against Kansas City a little bit. But I do have some interest. He is a minus 142 favorite. Game total of 9 right now, which definitely seems a little bit aggressive. K prop of 4.5. Kind of looking at the weather. Doesn't really look like it's heavy for offenses or anything. So Kramer's somebody that I'm going to have to consider, as the day goes on, because I do need to find some pitching. And right now, I do not see much for pitching. I'm not taking Haney against Atlanta. I'm not taking anybody in Colorado, even though the last couple of years I've definitely been open to some visiting pitchers because Colorado's been a weaker offense. Hancock's coming off of a strong start finally, but man, he's tough to want to click into a lineup the way that he's pitched to begin the season. I'm not sure I even see a K prop for him right now. Oh, he does not have a K prop listed. He's a minus 135 favorite. Game total 10.5. It is going to be cold there. So maybe, but man, I just don't know. Like, maybe I'll have to dig in some more to see what some of his underlying numbers are, but that's kind of it. And Yariel Rodriguez might make my pool. I think he has some pretty impressive upside. Problem is pitch count. So there you have it. There's the first look at pitching. If you enjoy what I bring to you, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, turn the notification bell on to get the alert anytime we drop videos. If you want to join us, get access to our coaches, tools, sheets, Discord, etc., I'll put links in the description below. You can use promo code RAZ, that's R-A-Z, for 10% off. And as always, best of luck, everybody.